Welcome back to the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it's a happy new year. It's 2020, and we have a special series being brought to you today. It's the Hollywood Blondes, episode 1. And this is the origin of the Hollywood Blondes, the build-up to them becoming an official team of the Hollywood Blondes. Well, we'll be covering Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brian Pillman in World Championship Wrestling from October 1992 through January of 1993. I'm Mike Prue, along with JV as always. JV, what's going on?
Happy New Year, bro.
Yes,
Happy New Year to all our listeners out there on the internet.
Yes, thank you for being listeners for a full year. We made it through a full 2019. We started back in 2018, but 2019 was our first full year. So thank you, Bottom Line Wrestling Cast listeners. And here's to another great year. And we're starting you off with a special series that we talked about all the way back. If you go back to episode 1, from Stunning to the Ringmaster, I mentioned this episode would be coming up. And here it is. All these months later, that we are now covering the Hollywood Blondes. And this is just the first of a series. JV and I, we have the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, where we want to cover in detail Stone Cold's career. But it's not just Stone Cold's career we want to cover. We want to do Steve Austin. But we're going to break that into little parts. This is our first mini-series. It's the Hollywood Blondes. And I thought, what better than the Hollywood Blondes? Because that's what I first think of when I think of Steve Austin, besides Stone Cold, is the Hollywood Blondes. But there's other things for us to get into. And we'll get to those things like his TV run, his U.S. run. But here we are starting it first off here with a special series of the Hollywood Blondes, episode 1. And JV, this is like in your wheelhouse, the things that, this is what you liked when you were a kid, is WCW from, maybe not this early, but from around this time, like 93, 94. You watched this definitely a lot more than I did.
No, I did. My father, like I said, I forget if I said on this podcast or the ECW one, but I'm sure I mentioned my dad was bigger into WCW as was his friends. So since he controlled the TV and we liked wrestling, this is kind of what we watched more than WWF. Not that we didn't watch WWF, but WCW I remember being on a lot more often. So,
yeah, I feel like WCW was just more widely available on cable.
Yeah.
If you had cable, to go to TBS and it's on
TBS, right.
Saturday night. It's on Sunday night. So it was those 2 weekend nights that wrestling would be on at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Sunday night main event, I think was called. I think that started at 7:05 or 5:05.
Yeah, it was always a 5.
Yeah.
That's usually, it was always like 7:05, 7:35, something. Right.
Yeah.
Always a 5-minute start.
TBS time.
Yeah.
Whereas if you wanted to watch WWF, it was Saturday morning, Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Yeah, your dad's not going to be watching it. You're not going to be stumbling into the room watching it. Oh, Dad, wrestling's on. But he'd come upon it and you'd say, oh, I want to watch this. So I totally get that. So that, that's a big thing why WCW was big on cable, not syndicated. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining in for this special series. And before we get totally into everything, we definitely got to give out plugs. And we want to plug out there that we have our YouTube channel, and it's at Bottom Line Wrestling Cast on YouTube. So go there, subscribe. You can listen to all our episodes, all our Stone Cold Steve Austin chronological episodes. This episode will be up there too, as it's posted. And also a bunch of our watch-alongs. So we have a bunch more watch-alongs that have yet to be posted up there, but they'll get there in time. So definitely go there, subscribe at YouTube. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at BottomLineCast. If you want to follow me, Mike Prue, I'm at MPRU83. JV is at John Van Damage. Then also, as JV mentioned just moments ago, we do another show. It's called the ECW Livecast, the ECW Extreme Livecast. And this week, we did episodes 31 and 32 of ECW Hardcore TV from November 9th and November 16th of 1993. And that's available on the Booking the Territory Patreon feed. So go to patreon.com/Booking the Territory and go to the $5 tier. Sign up for that. Check it out for a month. See how you like it. There's a lot of good stuff on there. And all JV and I shows from ECW are available there. So take a look at that. Try it out. It's a New Year's resolution. Fucking try it out. You want to try new things?
Yeah,
Try out the Extreme ECW Livecast.
Very minimal risk.
Right.
No risk.
Right, it's just $5. You're going to get a bunch of shit that you're probably going to like. And then you'll just keep paying $5 every month.
Yeah.
And it's not to go to us. It's not going to us. It's just, if you appreciate what we do, you want to hear more of us, then, hey, do it. Do it.
Just do it.
But also, before I get started with this show, before JV and I start to talk about something that we haven't really gone into and dig deep more into Steve Austin's career prior to becoming Stone Cold Steve Austin, I do want to give a shout out to a couple of guys that have been putting a lot of work out there for years on the internet. That's Graham Cawthorn and Richard Land. And Graham Cawthorn has been running this website called The History of WWE all the way back since fucking like 1999. If you go to the website today, you look at it, you'd be like, oh, this website's from 1999. And he's intentionally hasn't changed it.
Oh, all right.
Or made it look any different. It's like a GeoCity. It looks like a GeoCity website, basically. It's just regular font, and it's just information about all different shows. House shows, pay-per-views, TV shows, TV recordings, everything. From not only WWE, it's called History of WWE, but it covers WWE, WCW, TNA, Jim Crockett, WCW, just about everything that's on there. He's been compiling that for over 20 years now. And he's finally taken a step back from it, and he's given up the reins of the website to another guy who's been working his ass off on helping people find wrestling for years. And it's a man from England, and it's Richard Land, and he's been compiling videos. He's been a tape trader.
Oh, nice.
He's a tape trader for years, and he's been taking the tapes and uploading them and making them available. And he's a super sport about helping people out with, oh, what do you need? Is this available? Where can you find it? He has great access to it, and Graham has passed on the reins to that website to Richard Land because of his hard work with what he's doing. So that website's in great hands now, and probably going to be even more information available because Richard does a great job with keeping the history of wrestling. So good shit out there. And the reason why I point them out is because History of WWE has been great help with doing the house show rundown on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast since we started. That's been my go-to website with looking at what house shows happen, where's Austin during that. So I wanted to give them a plug here. But also I use them a lot here with everything for Steve Austin in WCW beyond or besides his WCW Saturday night episodes, which is what we're mainly going to focus on because that's what's available on the network. But I did look for other matches that he did have during the time period that we're covering, October 92 through January 93. So I looked at Graham's website, and he had some information about other matches that Austin was involved with. So I just wanted to give a shout out and a plug to them because of all the hard work they've done. So most of you guys that are true diehards with the indie podcast wrestling scene or the internet wrestling community, you guys know about those two guys, Graham and Richard, and they've been a great help. And Richard's always helpful. A lot of times I ask for Richard's help. I'm like, oh, can you find this? And he's like, yeah, it's fucking on YouTube right here.
Like, did you try YouTube?
Yeah, he's like, did you fucking look? Dumbass. But he's so nice about it too.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't be. I'm big on that. When someone asks a question, like ask me something, it's like, dude, did you try Google yet? The fuck?
But I thought it was something special. I'm like, oh, maybe. Oh, nah, it's right here, man.
Yeah.
But,
always right. Google it first.
Nope. Yeah, so Richard's
like, I'm having
guy.
trouble. Yeah, Google it. Did you troubleshoot through Google? Internet?
All right, so Thanks to them, and we're going to get this started. So, JV, we're going to start with a little pre-Hollywood Blondes, and this is what this whole episode basically is. So, I do want to point that out, that they are not the Hollywood Blondes yet. Now, I even mentioned some tweet action that I had going on earlier today. Someone mentioned something about Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat having great matches with Austin and Pillman. I was like, oh yeah, that's some good stuff. They had a lot of good stuff in October through January '93 before they were the Hollywood Blondes. And someone was like, yeah, they weren't the Hollywood Blondes yet. I was like, yeah, no shit.
Just like repeated what you said.
Right, exactly. It's like, no, I know they weren't Hollywood Blondes yet, but they were still a tag team. They were still, with each other at that point. So that's what we're covering here is the build up from Pillman and Austin going from being single stars to gradually becoming this tag team that is going to become the Hollywood Blondes. So we're going to set the stage here. And just prior to October, before they have their first time as a tag team, Pillman and Austin, Brian Pillman is this big up-and-coming babyface, light heavyweight star, and he's going to become heel. He's going to turn heel in September 1992, just after losing to Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong, JV, what'd you have to say about Brad Armstrong? Because you told me before we started the show.
Dude, he's a great technical wrestler.
Right, great technical, high flyer.
He's like a hell of an athlete too. He's just, and I didn't really appreciate him when I was younger. I was just like, look at this guy because he was small than everybody.
Right.
But like nowadays, dude, that guy would kill it.
No shit, he's like a Pillman at the time.
Yeah. Yep. Not
exactly, but he's up there. Yep. It's a good opponent for Pillman.
Oh yeah, they're perfect dance partners for sure.
So what happens here is that at Clash of the Champions 20, Brian Pillman became heel because Brad Armstrong couldn't defend the title. So he was pissed off that, this was supposed to be my chance at the title. Now he can't defend the title against me. That's bullshit. And then Pillman turns on Brad Armstrong. So that's what we got going on with Pillman. On September 2nd of 1992, Steve Austin, who's going to be the TV champion at that point for a while, he's going to lose it at that same Clash of Champions to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So now you have Pillman becoming a heel, and then you also have Austin now losing a TV title. So both of these guys are going to find their ways in a different direction than they were. And at that point, Steve Austin was part of the Dangerous Alliance. That was crumbling at that point. Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously, was the manager of that association.
Well, you can't go wrong with any, even if it might not be historically accurate, whatever name you're using here. But
I know. Paul Heyman, whatever the fuck. But, he was running the Dangerous Alliance. That's JV's watch.
It was.
Went off this time. But Paulie his thing's falling apart. And at this point, talking about late 92, his time in WCW is coming to a close.
Yeah, the hourglass is getting low.
So what's happening with the booking of Austin and Pillman is that they're having a lot of matches involving Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson, who were their partners in the Dangerous Alliance. Besides Pillman. Pillman wasn't in the Dangerous Alliance. But Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko, Steve Austin, they were all in that Dangerous Alliance. And they were just having having matches, really, with Ricky Steamboat, Shane Douglas, Dustin Rhodes, Brad Armstrong, and Barry Windham, who was a babyface at this point. But that would change.
And the crowd absolutely fucking loves that guy.
What
and I don't
is
get
up
it.
with that?
Yeah, I don't get it, but they fucking love that guy.
They're just high off of the 1989 run with Barry Windham and Ric Flair. Those matches that they had at that time. Or maybe it was before that. Maybe I got that wrong. But anyway, there was the matches with Flair and Windham, where Windham was the champion for a brief period, and he's living off of that glory for a while. at this point. But yeah, I agree with you. The fuck's Barry Windham? Other than a wannabe, not a wannabe, but he's the original Dustin Rhodes, but Dustin Rhodes was much better.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and so he was technically before Dusty Rhodes?
No, Dustin.
Oh, Dustin.
Old
Oh, I
Dustin.
was going to say, because that's weird. I don't remember it like that. Gotcha,
No.
gotcha.
Yeah. All right, so before I move on, I got some information from the Observer. I generally don't read from the Observer, but there's some good information that I found there from this time. And in September of 1992, Austin was involved in a New Japan Wrestling WCW Super Show, and it was against Masahiro Chono for the NWA title. So Masahiro Chono is the NWA champion at this point. And at about 5 minutes in, and this is reported from the Observer from the October 5th, 1992 edition. And 5 minutes into the match, Austin reverses a tombstone pile driver and gives Chono the tombstone instead. But Austin took the bump wrong, and Chono's head was in the wrong place. And Chono was injured and couldn't go on for the rest of the match. Does that sound familiar, JP?
No.
Oh. Well, think back to Stone Cold Steve Austin and Owen Hart from SummerSlam of 1997. That's the same fucking spot.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. Never mind. My mind was in another place there.
So what you had here was it was a setup for a tombstone front face pile driver, and it was reversed. And then Austin didn't have Chono's head secured high enough, so he landed Chono on the mat.
Eesh.
And the match had to stop.
Did you see video of that one, or is there?
There's definitely probably video out there, but I didn't search for it.
Gotcha. I just wonder if it looked as bad as
I don't know.
The SummerSlam spot.
But it was thought that Chono suffered a jammed neck or pinched nerve in his neck from the accident. And it's just crazy that just years later, 4 years later, well, actually 5 years later, rather, that Austin and Owen Hart will have that same accident. So I won't say it's karma, but it's just like, wow, just what a coincidence that Austin injured somebody with that move, and then Owen Hart injured him.
Returns the favor, I guess. I don't. Yeah, I've never really heard. I've listened to a lot of Stone Cold podcasts and shit, and I've never really heard him mention.
Yeah, he doesn't talk about it much. He has mentioned it, and I have heard it a few other times. But doing research for this show, I wanted to go through some of the observers and see what was going on with him during this time, and that was something that happened at this point. So with that said, he's coming off being a TV champion, and now he's in this title match on a big show with New Japan Pro Wrestling, who they're just starting to have an association with, and he injures the NWA champion in the big star of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this may have hurt Steve Austin's career right here and sent him down to being a tag team wrestler.
Oh, so this is the story behind why a guy that was so young and promising to them,
right,
who everyone seemed high on, you could just see that he has the natural ability and savvy on the mic to just succeed. And then they're hyping up the facts throughout this throughout this period that we were watching here these few months. They're always talking about how he's the greatest television champion of all time, like really trying to put him over. And then it's like, oh, now he's in like an official tag team. By the end of it.
Yeah, and as we're gonna go through, that takes a while. It's not like it's not like they get any success as a tag team, and it's also not even like he's actually in the tag team for a while.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think this is a major turning point that doesn't get mentioned often. It's almost kind of forgot about. Mainly because I bet Austin doesn't want to bring it up because of the similarities with his injury at SummerSlam 97.
Yeah, no one ever wants to talk about really fucking hurting someone either.
And no WWE documentary is ever going to bring this up either.
Yep.
So it's kind of just hidden history unless you go back and dig a little bit. But it makes sense why WCW would be like, dude, you're not getting a push now. You're not going to be the U.S. champion. Fuck off.
Just ruined relations with another country.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. That was the big thing they were trying to do. All right, so that's mentioned there. And also there is in that Observer from October 5th, Jim Ross and his hotline that he had. He said that Paulie Dangerously is going to be brought back to manage Pillman and Austin as a tag team. And they also said that they might push Austin in the direction of being like a Ric Flair clone. Like a new Ric
Which explains
Flair.
the robes.
Yeah, the robes, exactly. And then what Meltzer says here, though, he says, big mistake because Austin in no way, shape, or form is Ric Flair. And Flair is still an active wrestler. So at best, he'll look like a cheap copycat. Doesn't have...
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true. But then he also says he doesn't have what Buddy Landel has in a personality to get the kind of heat of being a copycat to be successful in doing that role.
Yeah, he was wrong there.
Yeah. He could, but still that would have ruined Austin's career too.
Yep.
Doing that. And then there's a letter. There's a letter from Joey Sprinkle from Orlando, Florida, from that Wrestling Observer, October 25th, 1992. And this guy says, I agree with the letter on Steve Austin. How can you have a more bland, boring, nothing guy on top than Austin? He has no charisma. If Watts really cared what the fans want to see, regardless of work rate, he'd spend more time keeping Sting, Anderson, Eaton, and the Steiners, and maybe even bring in Ted DiBiase. Bring back Ric Flair. So, this fan is shitting on Steve Austin. And Joey Sprinkle from Orlando, Florida, guess what? I guess you were wrong. Yeah. But funny to just read that. Like, people are shitting on Austin. Because he was getting a little push.
Yeah, I don't know why they would hate on him. Like I remember liking him as a kid.
I liked him through and through as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, this guy can wrestle. Sometimes when I don't even care about personality sometimes. If I can see somebody that wrestles, and I knew this from being a little kid, I like him.
Yeah.
I knew when I watched Steve Austin. I knew when I watched Bobby Eaton. Like, they're good. I respect them no matter what. Doesn't matter what they do. I think they're good.
Yeah.
They don't talk.
I liked Bobby Heenan too. Bobby Eaton. I liked Bobby Heenan too, though.
All right, so now this brings us to one of the first moments that Austin and Pillman are together, and this is from WCW Saturday Night. And like I said at the top of the show, most of what we're gonna go through is from WCW Saturday Night. That's available on the network, and we're gonna start with October 10th, 1992, and we got a little pre-match interview with Austin and Pillman being interviewed by Jim Ross for the first time. Just a minute long, but take a listen to what they have to say.
Welcome back, everyone, to WCW Saturday Night. Later in the program is scheduled to be the new tag team champions Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes in a non-title event against Stunning Steve Austin and Flying Brian. What are your comments about the non-title status?
We couldn't be more ecstatic. Sure, it's not a title match, but it's the next best thing. It's an opportunity for Stunning Steve and Flying Brian to show Barry and Dustin, the WCW Executive Committee, and the wrestling world that we're both destined for greatness. And I can't think of a quicker way to cut through the bureaucratic red tape and get that title shot than to come out here live and in Technicolor on national TV and dominate Barry and Dustin from pillar to post and beat them 1, 2, 3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that match scheduled to come later in the program. Now let's go back up to Rhubarb.
All right, so basically Pillman's in charge here. And that's what we're going to notice as we go through some of these early promos, that Pillman is the mic guy.
Yeah, he is. He dominates the mic time. It's like 90%.
Right. So Pillman's going to cut a pretty solid promo about how, it's a great opportunity that they have. They're going to get a title shot. They're going to go up against Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham, one of the tag team champions. That's what they think. It's not going to end up being that way, but that's what they're promoting here. So this is Austin and Pillman's first time together here. They did some shows before, prior to this recording. They had some house show matchups. And like I said, Pillman controls the mic here, and Austin just stands there and does nothing at all. But Pillman's running the show here at this point. And when you get to hear Austin talk a little later as we play the other promos, you can understand why Pillman is the go-to guy at this point. But they need to let Austin talk more because then he can fully develop.
Yeah.
But they're just not confident in him at this point. And he's probably being punished a little bit for his injury to Masahiro Chono.
I'd agree with that. It definitely looks to be the case that he's being punished.
Yeah, I would
based
agree.
off that,
Totally.
the injury.
All right, so that brings us to the match now from that episode of Saturday Night on October 10th, 1992. And it becomes a non-title match because it's going to be Steve Austin and Flying Brian Pillman against Dustin Rhodes and Brad Armstrong. So Barry Windham is not going to be there. This match is going to kick off at 1 hour and 12 minutes into the show. So a little rundown of what's going on here is that Dustin and Barry Windham won the titles just a week before on October 3rd, 1992 on Saturday Night. And they won the titles from Dr. Death Steve Williams and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And then the next night on Sunday main event, Brian Pillman and Steve Austin challenged them to a match for a chance at the title. So that brings them to this match here. But Barry Windham doesn't show up. So JR mentions on commentary that Pillman and Austin both have many singles contracts already. So JR is already pointing out they're not really a tag team yet. So they're not going to be a tag team on a regular basis, just kind of like a one shot. They've been put together. They challenge for the titles, but they get a lot of matches to do on their own still. So Barry Windham is said to not be in the building, and he's going to be replaced by Brad Armstrong, who is at this time a rival to Brian Pillman. So Austin comes out. He's got no knee pads on. I had to mention that.
Which is funny. Yeah, because he ends up wearing like the two biggest knee pads.
Right. He ends up wearing double knee braces for the rest of his career. But at this point, he's like, fuck my knees. I don't need knee pads. So he's like, yeah.
Bet you that's something he regrets.
Right. Yeah, if he went back and watched this, he'd be like, fuck, I should have been wearing knee pads from that.
What an idiot. I should have been wearing the knee pads.
So it's just ironic that, he's known for wearing double knee braces and doesn't even have fucking two knee pads on. JR, though, does make a call and says that Austin is considered to be the greatest television champion of all time during this match. Because they're putting over, like, Austin's not just this slub. JR has always been an Austin guy. And it's almost like JR knew, like, Austin's getting screwed right here being in this tag team situation. Because he should be going for the U.S. title at this point. But he's getting punished, and he knows it. So he wants to make a point to put him over. Be like, he's the best television champion there's ever been. So I'm just going to run down some information about him being the TV champion. So Austin wins the TV title on June 3rd of 1991. And that was in a great match against Bobby Eaton from Worldwide Wrestling. It was actually recorded on June 29th, 1991. Austin would hold that title until April 27th of 1992, which aired on May 9th, 1992, when he lost it to Barry Windham, which would be an official reign of 329 days. So almost a full year as a TV champion there.
Almost a full year.
Right. And then he would regain the title just a couple weeks later after he lost it on May 23rd. It would air on June 13th, 1992 by defeating Barry Windham. And then Austin would hold that title until, again, like I said earlier, September 2nd, 1992, when he lost it to Ricky Steamboat at Clash of the Champions 20, when he held that title for 102 days. So total combined, he's got 431 days as the TV champion in the history of that TV title, which makes him number 6 all time as the TV champion. JV, without looking at the notes, can you think of 2 guys that held it longer?
I didn't read this part of the notes, so
One should come right to mind, I would think.
say this. So the most combined days
As
TV champion.
Yep.
WCW.
Yeah.
Shit.
NWA, WCW.
How many tries do I get? I get 2, right?
You get
I'll say Sting and
not Sting. No.
fucking Arn Anderson.
Arn Anderson's number 1. So you got that. Arn Anderson was 8.
Really?
Yeah, 877 days total.
Wow.
Yep.
What? 877?
Yeah.
Damn.
Held it not in a row, but total.
I know. Do you know how many reigns he had? That doesn't say it.
I didn't list that, but
No. Oh.
yeah, I didn't list that, but I put the total number. I think he had a good amount of reigns. Austin only had the 2 reigns, but he's right there at number 6. Behind Arn is Tully Blanchard with 685, and then Paul Jones at 679. Steven Regal with 557. Then Mike Rotunda with 433, and then Austin with 431. So damn, Mike Rotunda just got a 2-day that top 5.
Fucking IRS, man.
IRS got fucking.
I don't
taxed
think
his
I would
ass.
have guessed. I wouldn't have guessed any of these other names though. Here, looking at them.
Yeah, if I had to guess on my own, I would have got Arn and I would have got Steven Regal because I feel like I always remember Regal with the TV title, but not Tully. I mean, Tully was before Arn basically having that TV title.
Yeah, I don't even know who the fuck Paul Jones is.
Yeah, well, yeah,
You know who he is?
he's more like late 70s, early 80s. He
All
became
right.
a manager in the mid 80s. Yeah, so he's not somebody from our era would be recognizable.
Yeah, my wrestling history isn't that good. Did you know who he was, or did you have to look him up?
I only knew who he was from listening to the podcast. I didn't watch him. I didn't like him as a kid, so I don't fucking know. Yeah,
I just googled him. He's funny.
He's before our time.
Yeah.
All right, so hey, good company though. Steve Austin's up there as one of the best TV
Hell
champions, and when JR said that, considered to be one of the greatest, that rings true to this very day. So there you have it.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the match though. You have Brian Pillman, Brad Armstrong. They got their feud going on at this point, so they got some good action in the ring. And then you can
Yeah,
also
they have
see
good chemistry.
Yeah, good chemistry there. But you can also see already that Austin and Pillman are working together very well. But what happens at the end of this match is that Barry Windham comes out and he's pissed.
This is so stupid.
He comes out like, "Hey, what the fuck? You didn't wait for me." He's pissed at Dustin because he's champs with Dustin, and Dustin replacing him with Brad. And Wyndham's like, "Hey, man, I just got here," and then they slap each other, and
So Windham, just put this in perspective, people.
Yeah.
Barry Windham is mad at Dustin Rhodes. Barry Windham is the one here that didn't show up for the match. So Dustin Rhodes only has a spare, a backup tag team partner in Brad Armstrong right now because Barry Windham basically fucking no-showed. He's playing hooky. So now he shows up pissed off that Dustin Rhodes is teaming with someone else other than himself, being Brad Armstrong here. It's like, why the fuck wouldn't he just show up on time, right?
All right, just show up on time. Or, like, if you didn't show up on time, why don't you just be humble? Like, "Oh, man, I'm sorry, man." Shit.
Yeah,
And
like
also
he's mad at Dustin Rhodes. Like,
And also understand the point that it's not a tag title match anymore. It's non-title. So it's
Yeah.
not like your title's on the line. They just had to put
It's
on
like-
a match.
it's like, you're cheating on me, man.
So they slap
That
each
Barry
other.
Windham stinks. I do not like this guy.
Oh, JV's a hater on the Barry Windham.
Yeah, I am. Sorry if you're a fan of his and you're listening to this. He just does nothing for me.
Yeah, and he doesn't do anything much either after this. So it's not like you can say, "Oh, Barry Windham had a great career," because it
No, he
didn't
didn't.
happen.
Yeah,
He was fucking the stalker.
that's right.
Or fucking army gear.
Yeah. That's funny.
he has the acclaim. Yes, he was a NWA champion. I get it, but then he goes on to being like the last best guy in the Survivor Series match where The Rock made his debut.
Really?
Yeah, he was in that
That's
match.
right.
Yeah, the Stalker.
All right.
All right, anyway. Well, shit on Windham. Actually, probably will shit on Windham some more. But anyway, let's move on. So Windham didn't want Rhodes to get a win, so he intentionally causes a DQ. That's how pissed off he is. Windham attacks Pillman, which causes the DQ and earns Pillman and Austin a win. So
The victory.
So Pillman and Austin get their first win as a tag team here. And this is going to be their last tag team match for a while, which is crazy. We bring it up here, and then we're not going to see it for a while. But they get their first win here because Windham is pissed off. He causes DQ. And, Windham is on a heel path at this point, which is good because how the fuck can Barry Windham be a babyface? Nothing babyface about him. So it's good that he's going on this heel path. So that's how that match ends up. And then just a few other things from the Observer as we move on. On the October 12th edition of the Observer, it's mentioned that Austin and Pillman have a few matches booked together, but they're not going to be a regular tag team after all. Austin pretty much was vehement about nixing the idea. So Austin was pretty pissed about being put in this tag team situation. And the reason why is because he was told that he is going to be, this is not from the Observer, this is from other things that I read, but he was told that he was going to be put with Harley Race and be the U.S. champion. And as I mentioned just a little while ago, he had that incident in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then they fucking put the kibosh on his whole angle. So he's, like we said, being fucking punished at this point, and he's pretty pissed off that he's getting screwed. Which is good for him. Should be pissed. And then from there, on Worldwide, October 10th, 1992, Steve Austin and Pillman are going to defeat Scott Steiner and Marcus Alexander Bagwell, who's subbing for Rick Steiner in a match that goes for about 8 minutes. And Austin's going to pin Bagwell with a stun gun, which is a move he used often early on.
Yeah, it's basically his finisher.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, it's his finisher. You drop the guy on his neck on the top rope.
Just awesome move.
Yeah, sweet move. He used it a little bit as the ringmaster and early Stone Cold back in '96.
Yep.
And so he gets that stun gun, and he wins that match there. And then also on the Observer. Actually, no, there's no more fucking Observer shit.
Yeah, we're on the Worldwide right now.
Yeah. So,
With Marcus Alexander
Yeah.
Bagwell, one of the hottest prospects in WCW right now.
yeah, right. So he gets the win over that fucking Rookie of the Year sensation. He was the Rookie of the Year for like 3 years, 1990, 91, 92.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, that was going to lead to what I already just said before, where Austin thought he was going to be the U.S. champion with Harley Race as the manager. So that didn't happen. So sour grapes for Austin, but he's got to keep on going at that point. So that'll bring us now to Saturday night on October 17th, 1992. You get Flying Brian versus Shane Douglas. This is the opening match, and this is a pretty damn good match. I love Shane Douglas during this time. All these matches with Shane Douglas in 92 into 93, damn good matches. Brian Pillman works great with Shane Douglas. They're quick, they're moving, they got nice arm drags together. It's just solid wrestling.
Two incredible athletes.
Yeah.
That just get the are just naturals to the business, really.
All right. Absolute great shit going on here. JR is super upset that Brian Pillman has a change in attitude as of late. So he's just pushing over the idea that, Brian Pillman's a heel. Wow, there was such good hope in this guy. He was such a great talent. Now he's got a bad attitude now. So pushing the heel here. And Shane Douglas gets the win over Brian Pillman by DQ when Pillman pushes Douglas into the corner post outside of the ring. So damn, we get some strict ring enforcement at this time. And I'm proud of that because in our previous 80 episodes of the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, I shit all over officiating that doesn't follow the rules. So I can't be a hypocrite
you
here.
do.
And
You
say,
got to acknowledge them when they're doing well.
right, they're actually following the rules here. And a toss over the top rope, especially in a Bill Watts promotion, because Bill Watts was known for this in Mid-South Wrestling back in the 80s, and he brought this rule to WCW here in 91, 92-ish, where if a guy's thrown over the top rope, that is a disqualification, which is a good thing because it just allows for another outcome. You know, like...
It isn't. It really isn't a bad thing.
No, it's good to have different ways to end
But
matches.
that's where that I never knew that. That's where that rule originated from. That's
Yeah, he used it often in Mid-South, and
it's good to know.
he applied it here. And in my note, I'm like, this is 1992, but it's 1992, meaning that, it's not really extreme yet. It's not Attitude Era yet, so I guess this is a good time still to have that rule.
Yeah, it still works in this setting, in my opinion.
Right.
In this environment, a wrestling environment, where it's still pretty much still has a territorial feel to it, even though it's not territory wrestling.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does feel territory wrestling, though. Even though it's on cable. Yeah. Even though it's on TV.
Yeah, right.
Right. So Shane Douglas gets the win after that move there, and it's a quality match, I think. Shane Douglas fights back. He gets a cross body slam. The officials and the wrestlers come down to the ring. You know, Shane's the big baby face here with his mullet. And it's funny, JV and I talked about this on our Extreme ECW live cast that we were watching him later in 93 as this badass in ECW, and here he is as this big baby face with the mullet wrestling with Steamboat. And then also on that same show, let's move on to the next match on this Saturday night episode from October 17th. It's Scott Steiner versus Stunning Steve Austin. This match goes for about 10 minutes. Scott Steiner is the TV champion, so this is a TV championship match. Just talked a whole lot about how Steve Austin was the TV champion for so long. But here it is now. Scott Steiner is here, and he's going to defend the title against the guy that he probably should be defending it against, the former champ.
Yep.
So it's a decent match. We don't get to see the finish, though.
I forgot how good Scott Steiner was when he was younger.
Oh, he's great when he's younger. He's great as a single. It's nice to see him as a single, too, at this point, too.
Yeah.
So they put the belt on him at this point. He's only been around for, I think, since 90. So just a couple years in. And he's the TV champion. They go to a time limit draw, apparently. But it was really TV time remaining. So the match ended without us seeing it. And Scott Steiner actually injured himself during this match. And he's going to leave. He's going to leave WCW within the next month. And that's going to cause them to vacate the TV title. And then Rick and Scott Steiner are both going to leave WCW and head to WWF by December of 1992. So this is really the end of Scott Steiner here in WCW. So TV champion, and that's it. He gets injured here, and he's done. So Austin maybe gets blamed for injuring another big star and causing somebody to leave. So maybe this just leads to more of shitting on Austin. All right, Austin, fuck you. All you do is injure people. So
this doesn't help. This isn't helping him at all right now.
Oh, I think we're just uncovering all this now.
Yeah.
All right, and then on the same weekend, you get a worldwide episode. Steve Austin and Brian Pillman defeat Tommy Angel and Chris Sullivan, whoever the fuck that is, in a 2-minute match after a stun gun. But now let's go to the next week of Saturday night from October 24th, 1992. We get a pre-match interview. Steve Austin and Jim Ross and Brian Pillman. So take a listen.
Welcome back, everyone, to WCW Saturday Night. Jim Ross back with Stunning Steve Austin. In a few moments, Stunning Steve Austin will go one-on-one with Shane Douglas. If you remember here last week, Shane Douglas, what a dynamic move, and that belly-to-belly suplex right here on the floor with Brian Pillman, a man that you have been teaming with quite frequently in recent days. What are your thoughts as we lead into this one-on-one matchup in just a few moments?
While you're running off at the mouth about how dynamic Shane Douglas is, let's talk about what is truly apparent right here, and that's two things. Everybody knows, the people out here and the people in TV land know that Stunning Steve Austin is by far the world's greatest athlete. The second thing, Jim, is that Brian Pillman, with this change of heart and change of attitude, is on a roll, a snowball effect that I just don't see stopping. And when you combine the two of us, you have one awesome tag team. Let me just show you what I can do in the ring right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, should be an outstanding one-on-one confrontation. Let's go back to Rhubarb.
258 pounds.
All right, so as I said, Jim Ross does the interview there. You get something that I thought stuck out to me because all the way back on our first episode, episode 1, from Stunning to the Ringmaster, when we played the first Ringmaster promo with Brother Love, Steve Austin told everybody in TV land to reach out to him. And here he is here using that same exact line, basically. All you people out in TV land, I'm the most athletic wrestler there is. And he mentions that Brian Pillman and himself will be an unstoppable tag team. So, yes, Austin's promos aren't fully formed yet, but he's getting there.
Yeah, he's building the recipe for
Yep.
the future.
Yep. Then also on the same very episode of Saturday Night from October 24th, 1992, you get a great match. Hell of a match. I can't speak more highly of this match than maybe any other match that you'd watch from what we're going to go through. And it's Steve Austin versus Shane Douglas. The match starts at 1 hour and 1 minute and goes until 1 hour and 19 minutes. So you get 18 minutes of Steve Austin versus Shane Douglas. It was originally taped October 19th, 1992. JV, did you watch this match?
I lost you on the notes. Which one is this?
We got Steve Austin and Shane Douglas.
Yes, I did see this one.
Hell of a match. Steve Austin comes out to the ring, though. His entrance music blows. He's got like some Roman gladiator music.
Yeah. It's fucking terrible. It doesn't fit him at all.
Yeah, it's just non-fitting. Exactly. So JR is going to point out right away that they both had great matches last week. You had Douglas against Pillman. Austin nearly won the TV title from Scott Steiner, which I think they should have made him win the TV title back, but we know why. Austin's going through his punishments here with potential injuries to Chono and maybe even Scott Steiner that night. So they canceled the plans altogether to team Pillman and Austin. So he's basically getting punished right there.
Yeah, he's getting blacklisted. He's
like,
definitely on the unfavorable list.
Right, it's like we had plans for you to be U.S. champion. You're screwing that up in our mind. And
yeah, they're putting him over on commentary as still being like a strong wrestler.
Only because it's JR.
WCW and promising. Right, but I'm sure JR must be getting direction from someone, right?
Yeah, but JR is about to be fired too in a few months. So
yeah, that's right.
So JR might not give a fuck at this point either. He just likes Stone Cold. He just likes Steve Austin rather.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna put over who he wants to put over. He's like, I know he's a star, so I'm gonna keep pushing that kid. I don't care what the fuck you say, because he's already disenfranchised too with what's going on with the company. Because Bill Watts is gonna be out soon too. So when Bill Watts goes, Ross goes, and it all falls. So yeah, Steve Austin's taking the brunt here, and basically Pillman and Austin aren't going to team together anymore, and that was the plan. So Austin's going to be in limbo. But he does put on this great match with Shane Douglas, and like I said, I don't want you to watch it because it's one of those matches that you should go back and watch. So just to remind you again, it is from October 24th, 1992, WCW Saturday Night. It's available on the network. Starts at 1 hour, 1 minute in. And I don't want to go through every single thing, but it's an enjoyable match. Shane Douglas is ultimately going to win with it. He's going to have a waistlock suplex.
Yeah, there's a nice twist at the end.
Yep. Pillman's going to come down and interfere, but it backfires and leads to the suplex that Shane Douglas hits. And then Shane Douglas is actually going to be a big-time babyface and clear the ring after the match. So, good match there. Definitely worth checking out. There's also another good match that happens that same weekend. It's on WCW Main Event from October 25th, 1992. Not going to go into detail, but it also aired on Worldwide October 24th, 1992. And you can find this match on YouTube. It's Steve Austin and Brian Pillman versus Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat. It's the first time that these two teams would go up against each other, and this would be the feud that would be built to in the months to come. And basically what happens is Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas defeat them by DQ after about 14 minutes when Pillman throws Douglas over the top rope. So they're really staying true to, if you throw somebody over the top rope, that's it. That's DQ.
You lose.
This isn't a Royal Rumble. With that said, though, that's what makes a Royal Rumble special then, right? You can fucking toss people over. Yep. Whereas you're not allowed to do that in other matches.
Most of these like gimmicky matches, usually, to win it, you're doing something that's illegal in a regular match.
Right.
Like hardcore matches, all that kind of shit. So, it does help the Royal Rumble that much more.
It does. All right, so that's going to bring us now to the first pay-per-view that we get to, and that's Halloween Havoc 92 from October 25th, 1992. And when I got to this, as I watched through and I got to Halloween Havoc 92, it's like, I got to watch this whole thing just because it's Halloween Havoc. I know you didn't because you probably didn't have the time, but...
No. I watched a good chunk of this. Yeah, with the wheel and everything, and Sting and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
Yeah, they have the coal miners match, I think.
Right, coal miners glove. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at Halloween Havoc 92, and we're going to get an interview.
And Bruno Sammartino's at this one, I think. I think this is one of the events that has a quote-unquote celebrity.
That's right, yeah, because they have the celebrities there at this one.
With Jesse the Body Ventura commentating.
Yeah. All right, so before we even get into, I have a promo for you to listen to, but I do just want to mention something that came up leading up to this match is that Steve Austin was basically kind of laid off at this point. And it makes sense based on everything that we've gotten to, where he's just been, all right, you're not going to be in the tag team with Pillman anymore. You're going on a leave. So what happens here is you get Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham. They're going to defend their titles. It's supposed to be against Dr. Death Steve Williams and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. But Terry Bam Bam Gordy doesn't show up. He's injured, apparently. So while Austin is supposed to be off, he gets a call from Bill Watts. And this is from Austin's book. Austin's book is The Stone Cold Truth. So Austin says in his book that he was getting ready to go out on his four-wheeler and do his thing on the bike, and he heard his phone ring. It was Cowboy Bill Watts. And he said, Steve, Bill Watts, we're in Philadelphia. Terry Gordy didn't show up tonight. We need you to come up here and fill in for Gordy and be Doc's partner against Barry and Dustin for the tag team titles. He said, he heard silence on the phone because I was thinking, damn, I was just fixing to go dirt bike. But instead I said, okay, I'll go to the airport.
That's funny.
So he says, it was Steve Williams and Steve Williams for all intents and purposes versus Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham. Because they're both Steve Williams.
Yeah, the reason why he couldn't just be Steve Williamson is like, you're Steve Austin.
Right, exactly. That's what Dutch Mantel called him. You can't be Steve Williams. You're Steve Austin. So, that's what happened there. Steve Austin says, it came to like a 30-minute draw. I don't think it was a really good match, is what he said. I thought it was a really good match, in my opinion. What did you think? Did you watch the entire match?
I did. I thought it was good. He's a weird worker. I will say that.
Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very like brutal.
He is.
Like punishing.
Actually,
but no. You can go.
I was going to say, actually, yeah, before we go more in detail in the match, let's take a listen to the promo, the pre-match promo with Steve Austin and Dr. Death Steve Williams. Take a listen.
Challengers, let's go back to Teddy.
In just a few minutes, these two gentlemen will be facing Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes for a rematch for the Unified WCW World Tag Team titles. And Dr. Death, there's one thing that concerns me. Do you feel as confident with stunning Steve Austin being your partner tonight as you would be if Terry Bam Bam Gordy was here?
Ha 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 ha, Mr. Long, trick or treat! The treat is Steve Austin is my new partner. The trick is, Daddy, you two men have to face us to beat us. Steve Austin, how do you feel about all of it?
The original game plan goes right out the window, boys. We'll see you in a few seconds.
We'll certainly find out. Let's go to the ring.
All right, so in that promo, Steve Williams is asked if Steve Austin is a good replacement for his injured partner. And Steve Williams says, trick or treat. The treat is Steve Austin is my partner. Yeah, he's not that good on promos either.
No. Oh, yeah, his promos. Oh, yeah. His part of the promo is atrocious.
His promos are always hideous. Anything I go back and watch with the Dr. Death is just bad.
Like that guy needed a mouthpiece.
Big time. So Austin gets on the mic, though, finally, because somebody sucks. So he has to.
He finally
gets on mic time. Yeah. So Austin tells Dustin and Windham that the original plans go right out the window. We'll see you in a few seconds. So even that sucks too. But
yeah,
it's just pretty.
He really wasn't given all that much time either. And that's the thing. A lot of his promos up to this point, he's getting like 15, 20 seconds.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I was going to just say to all the listeners out there is that, these are only like 1-minute promos, but that's all he was given at the time. He wasn't given the 15 minutes that we're used to with all the other Bottom Line Wrestling Cast episodes. So this is early on. He's not getting the time. He's also not getting the time because he's not being appreciated by people in charge. He's not really given much a shot here. And he's only brought in because Terry Bam Bam Gordy didn't show up. And fucking Austin had to jump on a plane and just like, all right, fuck it, fine. I got to try to make some money. I got to go. So with that said, Austin's really going to develop his mic skills once he leaves WCW, thanks to Paul Heyman giving him the opportunity that, you're injured? Well, you can still talk, right? All right, well, I'm going to help you talk. And Paul Heyman really kind of trains him with how to put together promos. That's what he does in ECW, and that leads to the Stone Cold style promos. And Paul Heyman's basically his teacher, person that taught him how to come up with those promos. Because Steve Austin was not doing that prior to leaving WCW. All right, so also Windham did mention that Austin is one of the best in the business.
He does, yeah, that's right.
And Windham was one of his opponents for a while during that TV title run, which we'll one day talk about. But Windham mentions that Steve Austin's one of the best in the business, and Dr. Death couldn't have picked a better partner. So there you have it. And then the match happened.
But he does remind people that he beat Stone Cold.
Right. Yes, I did beat him. He's one of the toughest opponents. I did beat him. Yep. Absolutely. All right, so we get back to the match now. We know, as we said before, it ends in a 30-minute draw. The ref had previously called Austin the winner, but then it gets reversed, which I didn't like the ending at all. I just don't like when the referee changes their mind at the end.
Yeah, changes their decision.
They reversed the decision. He realized, oh, no, he wasn't the legal man. It's like, no, you can't just see something later and say, oh, no, I changed my mind. It's not the fucking NFL. It's not instant replay. You can't have somebody come down and tell you, oh, no, you were wrong. Okay, never mind. I changed my mind. It's like, that's what happened here. Just stick by your damn decision. So the match continues for a couple more minutes. Then that's when it ends in the draw. So Austin got the win. Oh no, the match continues, and then it ends in a draw.
Which was a cool spot at the end there, because I know for me, because it was a 30-minute match, I don't really see a lot of those. We don't really watch a lot of matches that are that long. The ending was good because it was like, there was, even though, it hit the draw, it was a good payoff. So, like him changing the decision, it did play over well, though, like with the crowd. Like, it was kind of, everything got frantic because then everyone was trying to get a pin in. Well, the two teams were trying to get a pin in early.
That was
because
cool.
the time was counting down. Like, I like that.
Yeah, that built some drama with those last 2 minutes. Yeah.
I like the end of like a football game, or
but part of me was just
tight. It's only so much time left.
Part of me was just rooting for Austin. Like, no, get it.
Yeah.
Like, no, you got screwed. So I was worked a little bit there. So then the last 2 minutes is like, damn, screw it. But yeah, you're very true with that statement, and that it is exciting in those last couple of minutes. So that's another damn good match to go back and watch from Halloween Havoc 1992. Then there's another great match also that we're not going to get totally into, but Brian Pillman has a great match with Ricky Steamboat, which is considered to be the match of the whole pay-per-view. So, hell of a match there, so go back. That's just a good pay-per-view to go back and watch, Halloween Havoc 1992. And it's funny that Austin and Pillman both doing the jobs now at this point, both taking the losses on a weekly basis. And they're on their path to being a tag team, but not just yet. And then, just to move on real quickly to wrap up October, on October 31st, 1992, on WCW Saturday Night, Shane Douglas and Pillman are going to battle each other after a squash match that Pillman has, and they're going to agree to have a match later in the night. But this match is going to be right at the very end of the show. So Pillman versus Douglas, there's like a minute left, and Pillman wants the match now, and they say, no, it's not going to happen now. The show goes off the air without a finish, and we don't get the match that we want to see, Pillman versus Shane Douglas. And also on that next night on Worldwide, Ricky Steamboat defeats Brian Pillman after reversing Pillman's body press, and Steamboat gets double teamed by Pillman and Austin after that. So Pillman and Austin starting to work with each other a little bit here at the end of October. But before we get into November, I'm going to take a quick little break, and you're going to listen to our boys from Talking Taker give you a little recap of what's going on with their show, what their show's all about. So take a listen to them, and we'll be right back after that.
Dead man walking.
Oh, hell yeah. What's up, Stone Cold fans? This is Alex Dorio, one of the hosts of Talking Taker. And along with my co-host and fellow creature of the night, Travis White, we are digging up the career of the dead man, one pay-per-view match at a time, on a podcast journey that's a lot like what you're listening to right now on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So if you're enjoying what Mike and JV are doing here, going through the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, come check us out as we explore The Undertaker's 3 decades of destruction. We're right in the midst of the Biker Taker era right now, so you can jump right in or start over from the beginning and hear us discuss The Undertaker's side of the story, from his many battles with the Rattlesnake, The Rock, Mankind, and more. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, and more. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Talking Taker. Thanks to Mike and JV for letting us plug the show, and take her easy. What? I said, take her easy.
All right, and we're back now with the second part of episode 1 of the Hollywood Blondes origin story. Now at November 7th, 1992, on an episode of WCW Saturday Night, and it's Stunning Steve Austin versus Ricky Nelson. Now, otherwise, this jobber match wouldn't mean shit. But Jake Snake Roberts has appeared in the WCW at this point.
Yes.
And he's on commentary. And I definitely wanted to make note of this match because he does a great job on commentary. Just because his fucking voice is so soothing and just sounds so smooth, and he knows what he's talking about with wrestling all the time. And he has one great comment, though, of note, where he says, this man, Austin, could be the world champion someday. It's just so cool to hear him say that, because knowing what leads to Austin becoming the champion is Austin beating Jake the Snake at
Jake the
King of the
Snake.
Ring.
It's funny how it comes full circle like that, huh?
Right. And leading to that 316 speech. And there you have it. Jake the Snake is saying it right there. This guy could be the world champion. So he sees it. Everyone sees it. But he's getting fucking screwed. So Austin wins that match easily, of course, against Ricky Nelson with the stun gun. Then also his buddy, his future partner, who are also following, is Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman's going to have a match against Sting. And it's going to be the King of Cable tournament. Whatever the fuck that is. King of Cable tournament. I guess the TV
there's
title.
a trophy, right? Or
Yeah, I think it's a trophy.
Right.
But it's like the TV title wasn't good enough anymore. You got to be
Yeah.
cable. We're not just TV, we're cable.
We're cable.
We're TBS.
Yeah.
So it's Sting versus Pillman. And Sting wins with a suplex and a bridge to advance to the next round. And it just seems like they don't know what to do with Pillman and Austin at this point. They said they were going to be a tag team, but now Austin's being punished. And he's not going to be able to team up with Pillman. So Pillman's kind of in a limbo at this point. So they're not totally sure what to do with him now. So he's kind of getting screwed because of what they're doing to Austin. Austin was once in the Dangerous Alliance, and now Pillman looks to be part of it because now Paulie Dangerously is with Pillman. And this is the end of Paulie's run in WCW at this point, too. So a lot of people are going to be leaving WCW in late 92, early 93.
It's like a mass exodus.
Yeah, you're going to get a major turning point at this juncture here. So that's what happens there. And then the following week, Pillman is going to go up against the Freedom Fighter, which is fucking Brad Armstrong. And the match ends in a double count out.
Whose costume is fucking horrible. There's nothing freedom or fighter about it.
Considering that it's Brad Armstrong, you might think he would be wearing like Confederate shit. The Freedom Fighter.
Yeah.
So Pillman is going to bitch about this match. He's going to say, no, that's Brad Armstrong under the mask. And remember, going back just the month and a half before, is Pillman and Brad Armstrong had their issues as singles in the light heavyweight division. So since they don't know what to do with Brian Pillman, hey, bring back Brad Armstrong and have him do a little feud with him now, since that Austin shit's not going to work out because we don't like Austin at this moment. Fucking bullshit. So anyway, they're building up to a match that's going to be at Clash of Champions 21. That's going to be this coming Wednesday night. And that'll lead us to that match at Clash of Champions 21, November 18th, 1992. Flying Brian Pillman versus Brad Armstrong. And Brian Pillman does a great heel move here. And he comes to the ring acting like he's injured. He's on crutches. I can't do this match.
When he does it with his hands, like his hands up, like don't hit me, he does that very well.
Yes.
The way this is his whole body and everything, the way he sells that and acts that out is so good.
Right. So, Brad Armstrong's not falling for it, obviously. So once Brian Pillman is realizing, he's not falling for it, well, fuck it, I'm going to hit him with my crutches then. So he hits him with the crutches, and then the ref's like, hey, you're fine. The match begins. So the match gets started, and Armstrong is obviously weakened because of the attack by Pillman. So Pillman's going to get an easy win here within 2 minutes or so. So nice heel move, though, to keep Brian Pillman as a solid heel. To come out and do that little trick and beat him, and then beat him with the crutches, and then beat him easily in the match. So pretty cool there. So that's on Clash of Champions 21. That's probably one of the lackluster Clash of Champions of 92. And then we move on to Saturday night from November 28th, 1992. And we get a rare pairing, a very cool pairing, though, of Stunning Steve Austin and Arn Anderson with Paulie Dangerously So this is back to the Dangerous Alliance days, basically, which was just earlier in the year. But
Yeah.
again, they don't know what to do with Austin at this point. So, all right, let's just book him with this because that's what he used to be with. He used to be with Paulie. He used to be with Arn Anderson. So I'll just put him in that. We got to pay the fucking guy, so
Yeah.
get some work out of him.
Crowd will like it.
And he's going to go up against Kensuke Sasaki and Eric Watts. Eric Watts, the son of the Booker Man, Bill Watts.
Bill Watts.
So, one thing I noticed, and actually this match starts at 29 minutes. It's going to go about 10 minutes. And Austin and Arn are great together as a tag team, which is not hard to believe because Arn Anderson is a great tag team wrestler. He's basically the model of tag team wrestling. Like the Revival today, that's
who they are. Yeah,
that's what they based their
who they emulate
method after, right? So he knows tag team wrestling. Steve Austin was just a great technician, and he could adjust to that style of wrestling. He probably learned a lot from Arn Anderson, and they looked great in this match. Arn Anderson does a great job selling a knee injury for much of the match because that was the story going into it. And I love that. I love when that's the story. There's, my knee hurts. And then you just tell that as a little story just to make the match more interesting.
Yep.
Like, he's injured. Oh, now.
Helps commentary.
Right. And now the other guy's going to attack the knee, and it makes a reason why he's attacking the knee. Like, just whole fucking purpose of what's going on in the match. So Arn's gone. We talked. You briefly mentioned this last night in our chat, and he said, "Fucking Eric Watts, man." It's like,
yeah,
Eric
sucks.
Watts is gonna get the win over Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson is gonna submit to the STF. The STF by Eric Watts.
Yeah, which they put over that move like it's fucking Hogan's leg drop.
Right, like he's the biggest star in the making. He just looks like a biggest fucking goof. I don't care.
Yeah, boss's kid.
Right. You've said it many times on previous Bottom Line Wrestling Cast episodes, like with Shane McMahon, the boss's kid. You fucking hate that kid no matter what.
Yeah, it's always the worst.
But he is not Shane McMahon.
No, he's fucking Eric Watts. No. But JR is like over the top in his love for this guy.
Oh, JR loves anybody related to the Watts family. He can't shit on Watts because that's his boy. Although JR today would say, no, I didn't always agree with Bill Watts, blah, blah, blah. Get the fuck up. Back then, you do whatever it takes to make sure Bill Watts was happy with you. So he's putting over the kid, just fine. He's big, he's tall, he could be something, but you're going to thrust him right into the... I mean, I guess this is nothing because they don't give a shit about Austin. They probably don't give a shit about Arn Anderson at this point. Paulie Dangerously doesn't mean shit because they're about to fire him or not give him a good contract. So, yeah. They might just be saying, fuck all these guys. Eric Watts is going to beat him. Man, what a bad time.
Someone's going to squash the whole roster.
Yeah, squash all the good guys. Squash all the legends. Future Hall of Famers. You got three Hall of Famers.
Everybody to hate
Austin,
Eric Watts.
Anderson, Dangerously. Where's Kensuke Sasaki? Where's Eric Watts today? But anyway, that's nepotism in its finest. That's just the way it is. So anyway, the match ends with that STF. And the reason why that happens is Austin and Sasaki are fighting outside the ring. So Austin can't come in and break up the submission because that's what the heel would do is run in and just break up the hold. But Austin's tied up outside the ring. So Eric Watts gets the win, the submission, which makes sense because Arn is selling his leg injury. And the STF was a submission on the leg. So that made some sense there. But fuck Eric Watts is my bottom line right there. And JV, I think you say the same.
Yes.
All right, so just another little blurb from the Wrestling Observer from November 23rd. Meltzer is reporting that Chris Benoit won't be coming in, at least not anytime soon, which he's fucking wrong because he comes in like a week later. But he said he didn't sign a contract offer. It appears since the company needs a heel tag team, Benoit not coming in and will not be tagging with Pillman. And Pillman will tag with Austin on a regular basis after all. And they've worked together on many TV shows and house shows at this point. So what he's reporting is basically Pillman and Austin are going to be put back together because Benoit's not coming in. That's his side. I don't know if that is any truth to that, but that's just what his side was. Benoit does come in, and he comes in as a single and has nothing to do with Pillman and Austin just a week or two later. But interesting to see that there was the thought that Benoit and Pillman were maybe going to be the Hollywood Blondes. That's why I bring that up there. There was also talk, though, that Shane Douglas was originally supposed to be part of the Hollywood Blondes, which to me makes no fucking sense based on everything that we've gone through.
No, from a storyline perspective, no way.
No, from what we've covered, yeah. No,
yeah, unless it was going to be like a
turn,
double turn or something.
Right.
Yeah, but
no, but it's funny because Shane Douglas has a podcast now, and I like it. I enjoy it. It has good things, but a lot of times I realize this guy's bullshitting, or he just doesn't remember the history of how things went down. Because he's acting like, oh, I was going to be Pillman's partner, or we were going to be the Hollywood Blondes. It's like, no, you weren't. You're already a partner with Steamboat, and there was just too much going on with that storyline. Just doesn't make any sense. And I bet there's so much of that in wrestling where people just like, oh, yeah, I was going to do this. I was going to be that. It's like, no, you're wrong. Can't you just go back and look at your own history? Well, we didn't live it, but they did. But
yeah, they're just like, no one's going to go fact check that.
Yeah, fucking wrong.
Or maybe that's how they really believe it happened in their head.
Yeah, no, it's true. All right, so now we go to WCW Saturday Night from December 5th, 1992. And we're going to get a little promo here from Austin being interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Just about a minute long, of course, because they don't want to give Austin any mic time. But let's take a listen to what Austin has to say here anyway.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Yes, stunning Steve Austin. Like they said, Dustin Rhodes has a lot of intestinal fortitude. It's going to be a great semifinal matchup later on in this program between you and Dustin Rhodes.
Of course, it's going to be an outstanding matchup, Schiavone. But what young Dustin Rhodes is finding out right now is that unless you're a part of some type of alliance, you never know who your true friends are. The breakup between him and Windham, I saw it coming. And Dustin Rhodes, I'm going to finish what Barry Windham started.
All right, that's it from stunning Steve Austin. Let's go to the ring, the Unified World Tag Team Champions. Ladies.
All right, so Austin says he's going to finish what Windham started with Dustin Rhodes. All right, so we talked a little bit early before the break about Windham and Dustin Rhodes having their problems as tag team champions. Yep. And Windham was on that heel path, and he ultimately did turn heel at that last Clash of the Champions from November 18th, which was Clash of the Champions 21. He turned heel, and Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat win the Unified Tag Team titles. So that's the NWA and WCW titles at that point. So they unified it, and they won those belts, and that's because Windham turned on Rhodes. Now, Austin is having this match with Rhodes this night on December 5th, 1992. So that's what Austin's saying, is that I'm going to finish what Windham started. Basically, you get bullshit promo, nothing much there from Austin, but we want you to hear it because we're trying to chronicle the career of Steve Austin.
We want to be historically accurate.
Exactly.
Chronicling.
So now we get to the match. The match is going to start at 1 hour and 1 minute into this episode of Saturday Night from December 5th, 1992. It was actually taped on November 30th, 1992. And another good storytelling point starts off this match. Dustin is banged up because he was beat up by Barry Windham. Barry Windham beat him up again after Clash of Champions on Main Event, which was just this previous Sunday. So Austin is going to work on the wrist throughout this match. Good, solid match. It's very brief. It's only 6 minutes.
Yeah, but I liked it. I like how they were focusing on, like you said, like a known injury, similar to what you just mentioned earlier about Arn Anderson.
Right. It's just, I really think this era in WCW 92, and I think it's the Bill Watts booking. It just makes sense. He does a good job with making matches make sense when the story means something. So like the mid card to the upper mid card, all the stories make sense. He probably doesn't give a shit about the opening matches or whatever, but all these storylines make sense. Like, oh, he's injured, you work on the injured part, and we build from there. Somebody comes down, all right, now you have a match with that person. Just basic booking, and I like that. I enjoy that. Makes sense. It's better than today, where it's just all right. Have the same guy wrestle each other every single week. It's just stupid. But anyway, you have that. You have a nice solid match there, and these guys work together a lot. Like I said before, Steve Austin, Dustin Rhodes, they worked in the TV title scene. They're gonna work a lot more with each other during Austin's U.S. title run and Dustin's U.S. title run, which we'll get to one day on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. Those will be separate special series as we go along. We'll have one for the TV series. We'll have one for the U.S. Championship. So we'll be getting through his whole career, but a little sneak preview there. So Barry Windham's going to interfere. He's going to cause a DQ, and he does that just as Dustin Rhodes is about to nail Austin with the patented Bulldog, and he was about to get the win. So Austin's going to help Barry Windham attack Dustin at the end of that match. And now Windham, Austin's kind of aligned with each other at that point.
Yeah. Yep. Because now Wyndham's a heel. So.
Right. Exactly. You got two Texas boys, even though Austin's being portrayed as being a California boy. It's funny, all three of them are Texas boys.
Yeah, I know. They're not West Coast people.
No, not at all. Then that moves us on now to WCW Saturday Night from December 12th, 1992. We get a tag team match. Nice prelude to what we're building to. But we got now Steve Austin teaming with one of his idols, as Austin has said, one of his favorite wrestlers, beautiful Bobby Eaton. I mean, how can this tag team go wrong? He got to wrestle with Arn Anderson. Now he gets to wrestle with Bobby Eaton. And again, it just shows like they don't know what the fuck to do with him. They keep
but it's also like it gets to the point. It's like maybe they do trust him, or maybe they're so concerned with him that they need to put like a top pro in the ring with him at all times, coming off the injuries caused.
Injuries, yeah. You got a good point there. Maybe they don't trust him. Maybe they just on looking back in hindsight, it's like easy to say, fucking Austin's awesome. Like he's not gonna fuck up that much. But yeah, if you're running a company, maybe thinking, put him with the guys we trust, like Anderson and Ian. That could be right. I like that. But they're gonna go in the ring with the champs. They're gonna go up against Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas, and this match is gonna start at 43 minutes. It's gonna go about 10 minutes, 10, 11 minutes. And this is going to be taped on November 30th of 1992. And I thought it was a really good match. Everybody in the match is solid wrestlers. Austin, Eaton, Steamboat, Douglas. I mean, if you had to think of anybody like, who doesn't belong, you'd probably go Douglas, but
even that's like not fair to him.
No, it's not. It's not fair at all, especially if you go back and watch these matches of Douglas in 92, you'll see he's fucking great. Don't just... I mean, I don't even know how anybody could think Douglas is bad from anything that they've watched.
It's just weird to see how WCW ends up and, like, all the fucking talent they had.
They had everything. They just...
like fuck.
They had Vader.
Rich AEW wish they had that right now. You know what I mean?
Right. They got so much, man. Anyway, so this match goes on. It's a hard-hitting match, great match. Like I said, I don't want to go into detail with all these matches. I want you to check these matches out though, because they're great matches. Well, Austin and Steamboat, they're gonna battle it outside the ring, and in the ring, Shane Douglas, as he's usually doing at this point, he's gonna nail a belly-to-belly suplex, and he's gonna get the win over Bobby Eaton. Just a quality match. Something to go back and watch. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. So let's move on to the next week on WCW Saturday Night, and that's December 19th, 1992. And it's Flying Brian versus Ricky Steamboat. Now, I didn't like when I saw that this match came up. My first thought was, why the fuck is Pillman fighting Steamboat? Because
Yeah.
the previous
Austin.
week it was a battle outside the ring with Austin and Steamboat.
Yep.
Hey, conventional booking would be, all right, the two guys that were fighting outside the ring, they're gonna get it on in the ring the next week. But that's not what happened here. For all I know, maybe on main event the next night, which we didn't get to see because it's not available. Maybe there was a match. I don't think there was, but you know, just for the sake of saying it, maybe it did happen, but I don't know. But anyway, so we got Pillman versus Steamboat, and it's gonna go for about 10 minutes. And Steamboat gets the win when Pillman has his legs on the ropes. The ref doesn't notice, so Steamboat's gonna get the count. Pillman has his leg up on the rope. That confused me. Because I always see that as a baby face is supposed to have his foot up on the ropes and lose that way. A heel shouldn't have his foot up on the rope and lose that way.
No. It's confusing to the narrative. But I like when they do shit like that because it takes away the predictability. It's like, oh, look, it's swerve.
Right. It does cause a little bit of, what's that about? And I can make some sense of it, I think. I think this makes sense. Is that it's Brian Pillman. And they've been building him up, but they don't know what exactly to do with him because what they wanted to do with him, Austin is kind of fucking throwing a monkey wrench in it with their plans. So they don't want Pillman to be totally weak, losing to everybody. All right, you're gonna lose, but your foot's gonna be on the rope. The referee's not gonna notice. You might be able to have a gripe about it. You lost, but you didn't really lose. That kind of thing. So maybe they're trying to keep him strong a little bit. That's just my only way to put it that way.
Justify it.
Yeah. Okay. So decent match there, and man, these Saturday night episodes are just pretty damn good. I told you, JV, the past couple of weeks when we were building up to putting this together and doing this, is that you're gonna find yourself just watching matches from these episodes. I don't know how much time you had to be able to watch a bunch of matches from these episodes, but it's fun shit.
I watched a good amount.
This time of WCW.
Like, I didn't watch them beginning to end all of the matches, but like as I was skimming through trying to get to their segments, I'd watch like beforehand, like as I was like skimming through to see who popped up on like the thumbnails. I just screamed through the the timeline.
Right, like it's Vader, it's Cactus Jack. And...
Yeah, Vader with Holly Race. You got Cactus Jack.
Right.
You got freaking Vinny Vegas.
Right, Vinny Vegas is there. Even some other people like Rob Van Dam was there. Robbie V. Mustafa Saeed, who's the gangsters.
Heavy Metal Van Hammer.
Right, it's just some of these familiar faces that you didn't think were around. So, yeah, go back and just watch those episodes, guys, because you'll find a fucking treasure trove of wrestling in these episodes, besides Austin and Pillman. But anyway, to get back where we were, later in that same night, Pillman helps Barry Windham defeat Shane Douglas in a match, and Barry Windham and Pillman will team up to face the champs, Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas, the following week at Starrcade. And when I first initially took notes on this, my first thought was, "Where the fuck's Austin? He's getting screwed." And now, going through this with you, it all makes sense why he's getting screwed.
We just solved the biggest mystery.
Yes. And if Austin would just listen to this episode, he would realize what the hell happened. He'd be like, "God damn, son, that's what fuck happened to me." So anyway, we will move on now to WCW Saturday Night from December 26, 1992. We get Flying Brian Pillman, Barry Windham versus the Z-Man, Tom Zink, and Johnny Gunn. Johnny Gunn, who we were just introduced to on our Extreme ECW livecast, as the tag team partner of Tommy Dreamer, as they won the tag team titles against Tony Stetson and Johnny Hotbody. But here's Johnny Gunn just months before that here in WCW. Would go on to be Salvador Sincere in the WWF. So, Brian,
Those pink tights.
he had
Bright
the pink
pink
tights.
tights.
Yep. So Brian Pillman and Barry Windham easily win this match, and they look good in this match. After the match, Pillman and Windham call out Douglas and Steamboat, and they want to fight right now. The refs come out, they separate each other. They say, "No, you got to wait until StarCast," and the show goes off the air. So that leads us now to StarCast 1992 on December 28th of 1992. So you get Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas versus Flying Brian Pillman and Barry Windham. Quality match there, worth checking out. And Douglas and Steamboat will retain the titles after, of course, a belly-to-belly suplex from Shane Douglas to Brian Pillman.
And this one was awesome, belly to belly.
Yeah.
The way he snaps the guy down, not snaps, but like it was like the herc in his back.
Yeah,
the way he like arches it, and
twists
shit.
him
It's cool.
down. Yeah, it just looks so good. Hell of a match. And then from there, we go into the new year, 1993. And this is where the Hollywood Blondes will finally come to fruition. They'll finally form. And one little tidbit from The Observer on January 4th, 1993, where Meltzer reports, everything has been worked out with Steve Austin, who will probably be pushed as a regular tag team with Brian Pillman. So now they're finally going to decide, all right, Steve Austin and Pillman will be together as a tag team. And the way that they're going to set this up is on an episode of WCW Saturday Night from January 2nd, 1993. It's going to be in a promo with Barry Windham and his tag team partner Brian Pillman, who had just unsuccessfully lost to the champs, Steamboat and Douglas, at Starrcade. And Windham wants to go on to bigger and better things. So take a listen to what he has to say, and we'll talk about it right after that.
Welcome back, everyone, to WCW Saturday Night. Let's go now to the locker room area. Here's Tony Schiavone. Okay, Jim, Barry Windham will be in that tournament a little bit later on here on WCW Saturday Night, but he had something he wanted to say to Flying Brian. He wanted us here with him to hear this, Barry.
You know, first of all, Pillman, I've been working on something here for a while, but I've had my priorities a little bit wrong. They've been in the wrong place. Now I've got the World Heavyweight Championship staring me right in the face. I've got the United States Heavyweight Tournament right here today. But I'll tell you what I've done. And I'm not going to be like other people that we know, but I've gone out and I've found a man that I want to be your partner, and I know, we've discussed this, that he can be the World Tag Team Champion with you. Now, this man held the World Television Championship longer than any man alive. And he was only beaten once, and that was by me. But I'll tell you what, 2 weeks later, he took the championship away from me. The guy I'm talking about is somebody that's not going to leave you hanging in the balance, and somebody you can count on when the going gets rough. And the man's name is Austin, and he's right over here. And Pillman, he's ready to back you up 100%.
All right, Stunning Steve Austin.
I'll tell you what, Schiavone, it's got to boggle your imagination to think of the impact the three of us are going to have in this sport. Barry Windham, future world champion. And then think of the dominance that can be achieved when you bring two world-class athletes together and they mesh as one. When you take those talents and abilities and you focus on a common goal, you create an unbeatable machine. You take a real good look at this trio right here, because it's going to be a familiar sight in the world title picture for a long time to come.
You know, Tony, I don't need or care to have anyone tell me how great a wrestler I am. Because believe me, I know, and the people know, I held the world television title longer than anyone in history. And I'm going to bring that same ingredient that it takes to be a champion in our quest for the World Tag Team Champions. It's not, is something that I can't explain. Brian and I aren't like every other wrestler. We don't just go out there and wrestle for the sake of wrestling. We have a need to have a belt around our waist, and that need may turn to greed, and we will be unstoppable as a team, Tony. Count on it.
Okay, there they go, Jim, go on their way to the ring, this new tag team as we go back to action.
All right, so that's the big promo right there. That's the beginning of the Hollywood Blondes. Barry Windham mentions he wants to focus on the world title and being in this U.S. title tournament, or the U.S. title #1 contendership tournament will get him there. He tells Pillman, you need a new partner, and there's not a better replacement than Stunning Steve Austin. So finally, after all these months from October of 92, where they've been tippy-toeing around with Austin and Pillman, and for all the drama behind the scenes with Austin potentially causing injuries to Masahiro Chono and Scott Steiner, probably just not being liked by the office, they're put together again at this point. And now they're going to be a tag team. So Pillman is happy about it, of course. And he says they're going to be an unbeatable machine, which they said all the way back in October.
Yep.
Beginning of this episode, we played a promo where they basically said that we're going to be unbeatable. So Austin says no one needs to tell him how great he is. He is the greatest TV champion in history. And I'm going to bring that same recipe of success to obtaining the World Tag Team Championship. Now that sounds great. That sounds legit. Like, all right. It sounds like they're really pushing now for them to be something legitimate. No more fucking around.
Yeah.
Put them together. Put the rocket on them. Make this tag team division something. Because what is it before? It's Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham.
Yeah,
Douglas and Steamboat. It sucks, yeah.
I don't want to say garbage, but it's like played out.
Right.
It's redundant. It's
good wrestlers. It's just not good tag team. It's just
that's what it is. These are like very talented singles wrestlers being wasted in tag teams.
Right.
Tenured too, like draws.
And the
Ricky Steamboat, like his fucking entrance music is incredible. I forgot how good it was rewatching this shit.
well, it's gonna get shitty. I do have to say that because there is gonna be a WCW rock album or rap album that comes out that changes all their music.
Yeah, I saw.
It's gonna be some shitty music.
There's a commercial in one of these
Right.
episodes for it.
Yep, Slam Jam or something like that. But what I was going to say, though, is the great thing is with Austin and Pillman, and we'll talk more about it on the next episode of the Hollywood Blondes, is that they're going to say, screw this. We can't just be two singles wrestlers as a tag team. We got to be a tag team. We got to wear the same trunks. We got to have a gimmick together. So we'll get more into that in the next episode. But that's what's missing in this tag team division is a legit tag team. And that's what they're going to try to establish from this point on. And this is the beginning here with this promo from Barry Windham and Pillman and Austin joining in. So, one other thing I did notice, though, is just a little side thing, is that Austin has that scar at the bottom of his lip that we've noticed through covering the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, Austin's career in WWF. And I thought he got it with the Mark Merrow kick at King of the Ring.
Same here. That's kind of what we came to the conclusion on.
Right. And he already has it here. So
Probably something he got as a kid.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it came from, but he already has it here at this point. So I don't know what his injury was at King of the Ring now. Because it looked like it was the kick into the jaw during that Mark Merrow match, that Wild Man Mark Merrow match at King of the Ring. But shit. That's wrong. And that's how they sold it, though. That's how most people think he got that scar. It's from that kick.
Yep.
He already has it. So
But we can clearly see it's
right, it's already there.
That.
Yeah, by years. All right, so anyway, we'll move on now from there. And also on that same episode, January 2nd, 1993, Stunning Steve Austin and Brian Pillman are going to team up and have their first official match now as a tag team. as a legit tag team now, whatever the fuck. They already were a tag team for a little bit, but here they are again on TV after being pushed as a tag team by Barry Windham against Ricky Nelson and Larry Santo. Ricky
Santo.
Santo. What did I say?
Such a
Santo?
name.
Santo?
No, you said Santo.
Oh.
I just thought of like Santos because it's a common last name where we're from.
Right. Yep. Portuguese name. But Stunning Steve Austin had a match with Ricky Nelson. We talked about moments before where he gave the stun gun to him. And this match isn't going to be much different. This is going to be a stun gun to Ricky Nelson from Austin for the 3 count. They're going to make their entrance, though, with their new music. So this is the first time that they're going to come out with different music. You don't have the Gladiator music. You don't have Brian Pillman's shitty music. And you get this Hollywood Blondes music that we opened our show with. I think it's one of the best wrestling themes there is. I don't care. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's badass. So they come out with that finally here at this point. And they're going to be challenging Steamboat and Douglas for the tag team titles right off the bat on January 13th. And this match, you would think it would be a squash match, but it's not. This match goes on for about 6 minutes. And Santo and Nelson put up a fight. And I think maybe they do that just to kind of show off the talents of Pillman and Austin, maybe. Some fighting back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like fucking he's Braun Strowman. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They're wrestlers, and they're going up against wrestlers. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they're not the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
So they eventually gain control in the match. They show their dominance by the end. Pillman's going to hit a nice blind tag to Austin. Austin is the legal man. Nelson doesn't realize it, and that's when Austin hits that stun gun and gets the win there. So there they are as a new tag team. The following week, just to continue on with what's going on with the U.S. title, just real briefly, Ricky Steamboat is up against Barry Windham in the semifinals for the U.S. title tournament, which is supposed to be a number 1 contendership tournament. But Rick Rude is going to get injured. They're going to end up vacating the title from him. So ultimately, this match is going to lead to the finals. So basically what you get here is Windham is going to lose by DQ because he tosses Ricky Steamboat out of the ring. So you get another toss out of the ring, and Windham loses his chance at the U.S. title, which was going to set him off to Stardom, another chance at the World Championship. But here he is, one week later, he fucks it up already. So he's out of it. Ricky Steamboat advances to the championship match against Dustin Rhodes the week later. And Dustin Rhodes is ultimately going to win the U.S. title in the next week on Saturday night. And Dustin Rhodes is actually going to hold on to that title for most of the year, almost a whole year. He's going to have it up until...
really?
Yeah. He's going to have it up until May. It's going to become vacant again because Rick Rude's going to come back and claim that it's his, and they're going to fight for it, and then Dustin's actually going to win it again, so that starts another reign. So he never really loses it, and then he'll eventually lose it to Steve Austin at Starrcade 93 in a best out of 2 out of 3 falls match, which we'll get to one day when we cover the U.S. title run of Stunning
That's gonna be
Steve
fun.
Austin. That'll definitely be a fun part of the show there. All right, so that's what happens there. And then we got one more promo. Actually, a couple more promos, but here's one more promo between Austin and Pillman as they are now a tag team. And this is from Theodore Long, the Godfather. We'll take a listen.
Theodore Long, Teddy, take it away.
This Wednesday night, live at the Clash of Champions right here on TBS, these 2 men, Brian Pillman, Stunning Steve Austin, you guys will be going for the Unified World Tag Team titles.
Well, everybody knows that Teddy Long, and everybody knows what great athletes Steve Austin and myself are. But what the wrestling world, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Shane Douglas are about to find out is how hungry we are and how we're willing to do whatever it takes to get what we want. So be prepared. because we will get as violent as it takes. I guarantee you, once we step inside the squared circle, it's survival of the fittest.
And what are your comments?
Shut up, Teddy. This week at the Clash, this Wednesday, it's going to be a contest of epic proportions because Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas, you've opened a can of worms that you can't finish. We're going to take those titles from you, and I guarantee you that.
Well, fans, we're just about out of time. Let's go back to Jim Ross and Larry.
All right, so as we said before, Pillman is in control of these promos. He's the go-to man here. So Pillman takes control, talks about how hungry they are and how violent they're going to be. You know, they're going to get what they want. And I thought by listening to this promo, it really showed me, like, Pillman knows what he wants to be. Like, in his look, his permed hair, his tan face just doesn't match with what he's trying to be.
He's a much better asshole.
Yeah, he sounds like an asshole, but he doesn't look like it yet. That's what I thought. Like, he's got it, but the look is not it. And then Austin gets on the mic, and he does his first shut up. He tells Teddy Long to shut up. And then Austin stumbles over his words a little bit. As we said, he's not that polished yet. He says, this Wednesday at the Clash of Champions will be a match of epic proportions. He stumbles over proportions, which I guess is hard to say sometimes. But then he does say something that doesn't make much sense at all. That you open a can of worms you can't finish.
Yeah.
The fuck does that mean?
What kind of cans he'll be opening?
Yeah. He's going to be opening cans of whoop ass.
Yeah.
You open up a can of worms, I'm going to open up a can of whoop ass. That would have been great if he said that. But then he goes on to say, we're going to take those titles from you, and I can guarantee that. And when he was about to finish that sentence, it was just like, oh, he's going to say, and that's the bottom line. But no, he's not there yet. But he's improving. He's getting there. And I think not only, like I said before, Paul Heyman helps him, but I guarantee Brian Pillman was also a way of helping
in his ear, giving him tips. Yeah. Or he could have just been following Pillman's lead, and that's all he was learning.
Yeah, maybe just bouncing off of him. Like, oh, yeah, okay, now I know what to say. Not even that Pillman was giving him tips, just listening to him. Yeah. Good call there. Right now, that brings us to our main event here. That's Clash of Champions 22 from January 13th, 1993. And JV, we're gonna play this before we wrap up, right? This Too Cold Scorpio thing.
What do you mean, like the intermission? Yeah. Before we get into the wrap up.
Okay, yeah, all right. So, guys, there's this part on Clash of Champions. It's early on in the show. It's about 12 minutes in. It's Too Cold Scorpio's music video. It's fucking hilarious, and we're gonna play it for you right before our wrap up. Once we end this show, talk about what's coming next week and all that. But there's a few things that I just want to mention when you watch this or you listen to it. Definitely go back and watch it because it's fucking hilarious. But the little notes that I have for this, you have to hear. They're playing basketball. It's fucking raining. It's a rainy court. It's all wet. It's totally early 90s style. And it's a bunch of 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. and then there's just Too Cold Scorpio pulls up in a limo. And a basketball bounces. Someone shoots a basketball. One little kid shoots a basketball, and it goes over the hoop, and then over the fence, then right into the sunroof of the limo, and it lands in the Too Cold Scorpio's limo. And then he comes out with his two girls, and they start dancing, and it's just a shit show. And then there's one little white kid trying to keep up with all the other little black kids. He has no rhythm at all. And Too Cold Scorpio's like, you got to go to school. We're going to go walk to school together. And they're like, can we go in your limo? And Too Cold Scorpio's like, It sounds like a fucking 5-year-old. Like, Too Cold, you're an adult. You're talking like a 5-year-old. So there's that. There's the fact that the video is in black and white, but then there's a weird screen, like a little black box just a box that's in color.
Terrible
Parts of it.
production.
And then I don't know
Technicolor.
if you're listening
They love
closely. If you listen closely, and I firmly believe this, the person that's singing the song, the lyricist, is early DMX. There's a woman singing in the song, but the person that's doing the male vocals, that's like early DMX before he got a real job. Telling you. JV, I don't know if you can account for any of that.
I'd have
Vouch
to
for
get
any
back
of
to
it.
you on it.
But
I can't vouch for that.
but it's funny, and we'll play it for you in a little bit. But now let's get to the pre-match interview from Austin and Pillman at Clash of the Champions 22 from January 13th, 1993. Take a listen.
Well, I'm here with Flying Brian Pillman, Stunning Steve Austin. Tonight's the night, boys. You clash with the champions.
Got that right, Larry. It couldn't be any more appropriate than having the legend himself right here with us, because tonight, live and in Technicolor, millions will watch the birth of two new legends, Stunning Steve and Flying Brian, the next great dynasty in professional sports. Ricky Steamboat, Shane Douglas, be prepared to pay a severe price, because I can guarantee you one thing: we will do whatever it takes to grab those titles and seize our destiny.
And we'll be right back with Tony Schiavone talking to Sting.
All right, so we get Larry Zbyszko interviewing Austin and Pillman, and they're waiting patiently for their cue. I don't know if you noticed this, JV, but they're waiting there. Then they get the cue, and then they're like all smiles, like ready for their promo.
Yeah. Their whole demeanor changes.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, we're ready to go. Here we are.
Oh, shit, smile.
So Pillman starts as usual. Pillman says, it's fitting we have the legend beside us, because live tonight in Technicolor, millions of people will see the birth of two new legends, the great dynasty in professional sports. Steamboat and Douglas, be prepared. We will do whatever it takes to seize our destiny. Then Austin sits there and says jack shit.
Yeah, he gets like 7 seconds.
He doesn't say anything. He's just standing there in his robe.
He's a different one.
Looking at nothing. He just has his chin up with his haircut that needs to be shaved off. There he is. And then right after that, that's where we get the advertisement for Slam Jam 1 wrestling album. I don't think there was a Slam Jam 2, and that's the problem with naming things 1 when it's the first one. But Slam Jam 1 wrestling album, I want to find that, because I want to hear those songs. And the song that they play leading into that is atrocious. But that brings us to the match. Now, this match is for the NWA WCW Unified Tag Team Championships. It's Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas versus Stunning Steve Austin and Flying Brian. And it starts out.
It's cool seeing them with all the gold. You know what I mean? Like 2 sets of belts.
Yeah, 4 belts. Look great. Yeah, they do their little promo right before the match. Larry Zbyszko interviews them also. And, it's just a shitty promo. Shane Douglas is like, we're going to see what the destiny will be. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. They look great, of course. But we don't want to go fully into this match because we just covered this match. It's available last week. It's our special series Watch Along. Clash of Champions 22. Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas versus Steve Austin and Flying Brian Pillman. So check out our full review, full watch along of that match. 15-minute match. Check it out. But basically what happened, just to run it down for you, Steamboat and Douglas will retain the titles after a DQ. Austin hits Douglas with the belt. That causes Douglas to get busted open. He was trying to pin Pillman with a roll-up, but the referee catches the belt shot, and he calls for the bell.
Yep.
Because, again, we're at a period in time where the referees are very strict with the rules.
Legit officials.
Exactly. It's not like WWF 1999. But then after the match, Pillman and Austin are going to whip the shit out of Steamboat and Douglas with the tag team belts. And then Tuco Scorpio, Marcus Bagwell, Brad Armstrong, they're going to run in and make the save. And then Austin and Pillman are going to take a powder, leave the ring, and head out. And what was great about this is that it sets up Austin and Pillman as being true heels. although they probably want to be the champions, they didn't want to get pinned. They'd rather take a DQ, and they want to add insult to injury by using the belts and kick the shit out of the tag team champs with their own belts. Then they even walk off with the belts, too, as it goes to commercial break for the next match, which was the main event. Now, funny thing that I listened to is actually on the Stone Cold documentary that's available on WWE Network. When he talks about this time period, he talks about how Ricky Steamboat chewed their asses out backstage after this match for being too stiff with beating them with the belts. And Austin said, "Oh, Pillman and I looked at each other, and then after Steamboat left, we laughed." So they knew they had they were building heat. They were trying to get noticed. And at this point, Austin is
get people talking,
right. Even if it's people that they respect, get them talking about these guys, because in Austin's mind and maybe even Pillman's mind at this point, what else do we have to lose? We're getting fucked anyway. This could be our last hurrah. Let's try to do something.
That's a good point. They are in nothing left to lose mode.
Right.
I mean, they both kind of, especially Austin has gone down the card as far as belt importance.
So this is his only chance to actually do something. And if they're gonna fuck with him, yeah, fuck with me then. I'm out. The sad thing is, though, these guys are gonna get hot, as we'll get through as we talk more about the Hollywood Blondes in the future episodes, and they're gonna squash it in the end. And say, no. Just by the end of 93, it's okay, no, never mind. This tag team's done. Ugh. We just got a lot more to talk about and see what happens as that comes. But hey, that's our first episode. JB, what'd you rank this match? I think we went three stars, right?
I think we said 3 stars.
Yeah.
3 skulls.
Yeah, 3 skulls. 3 stunners. 3 stunnings. Whatever the fuck.
Yeah, 3 stunners.
Yeah, that's our first episode of the Hollywood Blondes. Hope you guys enjoyed it. There's a lot of information we went through and a lot of build-up there. And still, we're not even at fully Hollywood Blondes yet. That's just a whole build-up to it. But a lot of intrigue and a lot of information about what was going on at the end of 92 into 93 with WCW in Austin's career there at that point. And also Pillman. So I enjoyed going through it. It was fun stuff there. But next week, we're going to be moving on back to the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast in the new year.
Before we get into this wrap-up, we're going to play the Tuco Scorpio video, right?
Yes, but yeah, exactly. So before we fully get into this wrap-up, take a listen to that Tuco Scorpio rap song. Enjoy.
Man, shoot the ball. Man, I know I can make it, but my hand too cold. Man, you can't make it. You're gonna be late for school. Man, I can make it. Give me this ball. Everybody, here comes Tuco Scorpio. Man, you can't make it. Man, that was too cold. That was too cold.
Ain't you kids supposed to be in school?
Nah, man, we going to the game room.
What do you mean to the arcade? You guys need to be in school trying to get an education. Tell you what, I'll take you guys to school.
Are we going to ride in limousine?
Nuh-uh.
We're going to walk?
Let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to step.
He don't care. I like to go for brother. He attacks on the air. Too cold. Scorpio. Too cold. If he wants the top rope, it's all was his. If he want to mix it up, it's you he will diss. Drop kicks, fighting punches in his repertoire. No doubt about it, gonna be a superstar. Too cold. Too cold, Scorpio. Got so much on fix, you wonder what's in store. Or what's all in the ring, or one on the floor. There's so many things, too many to list, but you better beware of the things that don't miss.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that Too Cold Scorpio song there. Too Cold Scorpio's in the house. All right, but next week we'll be back in the house with the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast on January 8th, and we'll be covering episode 58. We'll be covering September through October of 1999, building up to No Mercy of 1999, where Stone Cold's going to get a title shot against Triple H. And now we want to move on to some podcast plugs from our pals at Talking Taker. Okay, you heard a little promo from them earlier in the show, but check out Talking Taker definitely, where they're covering the career of The Undertaker, pay-per-view by pay-per-view. Definitely check out our friends at Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where they drop 2 episodes a week, one on Thursday and one on Sunday. The Thursday episode this week will be covering NWA WCW Saturday Night from 1988. And they're covering September 3rd of 1988 this week. And on Sundays, they do the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Recap, where they're covering episode 176 from June 10th, 1995. So check that show out. And again, remember, JV and I also do the Extreme ECW live cast. And this week, we are dropping episode 15, which is Hardcore TV, episodes 31 and 32 from November 9th and November 16th, 1993. And that's available again on the Booking the Territory Patreon.com feed at the $5 tier. So try it out, check it out for a month. You'll probably stick around long after that. So just give it a shot. And also check out our friend Jay Free at Free Your Geek for all information on pop culture in all different areas, from comics to movies to TV shows to wrestling. Just check out his archives. A whole bunch of great episodes there with Jay Free on Free Your Geek. Also, if you want to follow us again on Twitter, we're at Bottom Line Cast. For the Extreme ECW Livecast, we're at Extremecast. And if you want to follow JV and I personally on Twitter, I'm at Mike Prue at MPRU83. JV is at John Van Damage. And also, could you please give us an Apple review? If you enjoy the show, please just give us a review there. It's been a while since we got one. We would like to have another one.
I'm just going to ask you, when's the last time we get a review? Have you noticed?
It's been a while. But please give one if you want to write something for us. And also, we have that YouTube page, the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So please check us out there. Hope you guys had a great 2019 and have an even better 2020. Thank you guys for being a part of our listening audience for the past year and a half almost at this point, and over 80 episodes. It's great. We just love it. So thanks, guys. JV, any final words?
No. Till next time.
All right. Till next time, I'm Mike Prue along with JV. We'll be back with episode 59 of the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So long.